All right, we have a 20,000 share seller at 105. I want to see if it tries to break above it or not, but I did try this for a morning panic bounce play, and this was not just a regular morning panic bounce play. I like how it made a drop from the previous close and the open 117, and then it had a drop as low as $1.02. And I bought because I was interested in seeing this drop and everything, and I like how, had this trend line right here. It broke past the trend line. It had one more downtrend, not a big one, but it had a downtrend. And then right when it was starting the uptrend, I was interested in it, and I thought there was a chance it could hold support. The level being $1, and then it could be something that makes a move towards VWAP or above it. And it did have like a bit of a sell-off right here with a lot of volume, so then I thought maybe it could try to bounce with that as well, and it just didn't do it when I tried. I bought at 937 right here in this green candle at 106, right when it was looking like it was going to break past 106, which was the ceiling for these past few candles, and it did. It got to the 107s, but it wasn't able to break above 107. There were just too many sellers at the ask with 107, and it started the downtrend. And I first had my trend line off of this candle right here, thinking that it was going to bounce and make a move, ideally towards VWAP eventually. But when it was starting to, break past that line and then start to downtrend, I had it right here, and then I figured if it looks like it's gonna break this 104 level, I'm gonna cut the trade, and it did look like it was going to. You can see a lot of red selling price action here, a lot of red volume. So I did get out of this at 939, which was right here at 104.25. So a tiny loss right here was a good try, and it looks like it did break 104. Even with the big bidder here, it did get to 103. And I also entered because there was a big bidder at the support as well. And not just a big bidder at the support, but it looked like it was going to break above 106, and then we were playing around that nice round number of $1 after a panic here and a big volume sell-off. I was interested in it. It didn't do it right here. I'll keep looking at it to see if it might try to do it later, but I'm less interested in trading it because it didn't work the first time. That's pretty much it for right now. I'm not really looking at anything else. I'm still considering maybe RIVN for a swing trade, but I haven't really traded it with that in mind. But I'll keep looking and I'll make an update later. All right, it is 10:21 a.m. I haven't traded anything, but I do want to note this one I hesitated on trading because I've just been thrown off recently with morning panic bounce plays if I should try when the trend line breaks or if I should wait for it to dip. In this case with RIVN, it did do a trend line right here. Not necessarily the best example, not something I would really consider for a morning panic bounce play, but as you can see here, this one when it broke above it, it did a nice uptrend to the 1750s, and then I was watching this here. Now, one thing this could have been, perhaps, is inverse head and shoulder. So like the shoulder, and then this is the head. So a little risky, but you're essentially buying right at the point where it just broke a previous low, and now this could be, in this case, the day low, and you're in it, and then you just risk it either breaking or not, and then ideally it makes a move towards the upside. But then I thought maybe this is a thing where, it's still under the trend line. And sure, it had like the big volume candle right here with selling price action, just briefly breaking the previous low here. So maybe it could be something for a dip buy. I think I need to just get better at differentiating whether it should be something that I trade right at a trend line break or something that I should try to trade when it's breaks the trend line, and then it ideally uptrends a little and then kind of comes back and then holds around the trend line, finds a bottom somewhere, and then I can take an entry. I think if it's like a fast drop in the morning, it's something that maybe I can try to be sneaky with and try trading. Well, it might be under the trend line, but it looks like it's bottoming, or right when it looks like it's going to break above it. And then if it's like a very slow panic, a slow downtrend over a longer period of time, kind of like the chart right here, this could be something where maybe I wait for it to break above the trend line and then drop again and then find a bottom off of that level to trade off of. So I think that's the situation here. And, just a way to kind of differentiate when I should enter panic bounce setups. I think that can help me be much more profitable in theory. If I were to have taken this setup, maybe an entry at the 1672 point. I might have sold a significant amount here around VWAP, but it's still holding this trend line, and I should still be holding on to the rest of the position. Perhaps I might have drawn an even more aggressive trend line, and then at that point I will be out of this trade. Hindsight is 2020 as to how I would have traded it, but I know I would have sold at least something here at VWAP. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna keep looking for setups. This one worked out. GTII never got to VWAP. It never broke the day low either, and the volume is drying up, so it's not necessarily anything I want to trade anymore. I'll make an update later. If not, when the market is closed, if I don't find anything. Alright, it is 7:17 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be down on the day, $4.38. One trade with GTII. This one did not really work out, but I am starting to keep track whether or not setups are breaking my risk level, whether it be in the first 10 minutes after entering, whether it be an hour from now, or even by the middle of the day. And this was an example of one where it didn't really bounce all that nicely. I'm in at 106. The highest it got to was 110. And at least it was a move above VWAP. It did uptrend eventually, and I'm glad to see here that this was an example of a setup that never broke my risk level, which was a day low. I got in the setup on the uptrend, and once that uptrend looked like it was not going to work and it was starting to sell off and appeared to potentially break the support level, it just looked really bad, and I got out of it for that reason. But it did eventually get to a level here above VWAP, and it never downtrended. At least it never broke the risk level until much later in the day after it made the move past VWAP. So if I keep seeing stuff like that, even if the setup doesn't look that nice, it doesn't immediately uptrend, I might have that patience to hold on. Just having stats behind me. Of course, not all of them are going to work out, but that's the idea. RIVN ended up making a lot of nice moves. I didn't trade it, and it's just kind of aggravating to try to figure out when I should take a consideration of a setup when it looks like it's still under the downtrending trend line, or when it breaks up, past it, or maybe, only on a dip after it breaks past it. But I think with more experience, I can be able to get better at that and be much more profitable. I was looking at this at an inverse head and shoulder, so like the shoulder, and then this is the head here that worked out, and then a shoulder which got to VWAP. It wasn't the best, but it did make a move from 1708 to the 1740s, and then after a double bottom right here, it did get much higher into the 18. So I'm going to keep watching this even if I miss out on the overall idea of a swing trade right here, just to learn from it, and then hopefully I can apply that in the future and make money off of it. That's pretty much it for today. I do feel a bit stuck trying to figure out which, bounce setups I should take immediately once it breaks that trend line and when I shouldn't, and I hope I can be able to get better at that.